Eventful few weeks for Chelsea.
Yep.
First, before we get talking about the current situation, I want to get your thoughts on the news that Maresca left. I know it's a little bit of time has passed, but what was your thoughts initially on that news?
The writing was on the wall. His comments after the Everton game were bizarre, and the fact that he didn't put a name on it either was interesting. But he was pushed and he was asked, is it the fans? He goes, no, I love the fans. So then...
The 48-hour comment you're talking about.
The 48-hour comment. So you deduce that it's the hierarchy. And the PR battle started in the summer. When Levi Colwill went down with an ACL injury, he intimated that he wanted a new centre-back. The briefing from the board a couple of days later was, we're not going in. And that's when it really started. I think he's looking at the job that he did, the remit that he was given. He won the Conference League, he qualified for the Champions League, and he won the Club World Cup in an incredible manner. So I think he thought he deserved more respect. And it comes down to the head coach-manager thing, right? All managers come in as a head coach initially, and then you kind of wrestle that control and you become a manager eventually. And I think that he felt he deserved more respect than he got. But when you call out the people who sign your cheques, you're going to lose your job. And I think he can leave his head held high. And any major job in Europe, he's going to be getting an interview because he has shown that he's a top technical coach.
Where do you stand on that sporting director issue? Because that is a massive issue at the moment for Chelsea fans, isn't it? It feels like a huge identity crisis at the club almost.
I don't love it, especially because we're now hearing briefings from the Chelsea board that they brought in Liam Rosenior because he plays a certain type of football. It should work the other way around. The manager should have a philosophy and style of football, and then the sporting director should facilitate that by bringing in players who can fit that style, not the other way around. The sporting directors and directors of football should not be telling the manager how they want football to be played, and that's where I think they've gone wrong. It's modern football, I get it. Every club operates under that model. But for me, I like managers having full control and you live or die by your manager as opposed to these sporting directors who you never hear from and don't know their credentials either.
Yeah, you mentioned Liam Rosenior there. Brought in as a head coach on a 6-year deal until 2032. We heard his first press conference this week as well. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that appointment?
We are going to give him time as Chelsea fans.
Are you? Do you think the stadium will give him time?
For sure, because there is just that eternal optimism that you have as a football fan, and you hope that this is the guy that's going to lead you to success. But Chelsea are different to the legacy clubs of this country, like a Liverpool, a Manchester United, and Arsenal. Those fan bases are looking for tenured managers. They remember Alex Ferguson. They remember Arsene Wenger. They think about Shankly, Paisley, Klopp, managers who spent a long time with those clubs and built the club in their image. Chelsea have chopped and changed and still got success despite that. So if it's not working for Liam Rosenior after 3 months, there's no doubt that the fans will turn, because that's what Chelsea fans have done historically. But as a man that wants to see a young black manager who you don't really see in Premier League football get given the chance, I will give him as much time as is required to go and get results at this young team. But it's not an easy job. Chelsea have gone through the gauntlet of managers. If you think about a mercenary, in a sense, in Thomas Tuchel, think about a young British manager in Graham Potter, a club legend in Frank Lampard, a former Spurs manager, Pochettino, and then finally Maresca, who was effectively a championship manager. None of it's worked. So why would I sit here and believe that Liam Rosenior is going to work?
Lyes, what's your thoughts on everything going on at Chelsea? A lot to unpack there from what Kweku said, but generally from give us your neutral hat on what has happened at Chelsea.
I think it's a bit similar to United, to be honest with you, right? In terms of managers or head coach versus manager, all of that. I think the only difference between, I would say, Maresca and Amorim was that Maresca had a lot more credit in the bank. He had fit. I think he did very, very well last season to get them to the top 4 and then win 2 trophies, regardless of how much you value those trophies. I think he exceeded expectations, and going into the season, rightfully asked for a little more to take the next step, and he wasn't given it. Now on Rosenior, I've spoken to Rosenior before. I've interviewed him. I've worked with him in some capacity. I find him to be very level-headed. I find him to be very well-spoken. He's a very mature guy. Very well, but it's a different, even to Amorim, where I thought Amorim at times could be over-emotional. I think Rosenior is very, very level-headed, and I get that a lot from his press conferences, and even what he's done so far in the game. Of course, this is uncharted territory for him, but I think you look at every step of his coaching journey, it has been promising and in some way successful as well, too. Now, I feel for him because I look at this Chelsea job a bit like United and find that it's very, very difficult to get the level of success that they want in the time that they want. Will he be given the funds he needs? I'm not too sure about that, but I wish him all of the best. I agree with you. I just don't really see how much success Rosenior can have at this level.
Yeah, it was interesting in his press conference, wasn't it? He said, spoke about the world-class talent that was there, but he said the biggest challenge in any club, in any team, is to create the right culture, spirit. He kept talking about spirit and culture a lot, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. It gave us a little idea for today, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to be tasking you, Kweku, with picking 5 signings for Liam Rosenior. So effectively, you are now the Chelsea sporting directors because
I was Wilcox with Stanley.
they've got all the power there. Anyway, so let's talk about who you think is in that 5th spot. Because this is, Lyes literally choked on his water when he saw the Maignan initially.
And just to clarify, the January transfer window is open. This isn't for
it's not just
January.
January.
This is
It's definitely not for January.
It's realistic, and especially when you see some of the names, it's definitely not January, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about how you've done this as well?
So it was difficult because Chelsea have made so many signings, and we know about the policy that exists in terms of reluctance to sign players over the age of 23, and so it was limited in terms of the pool of players I could pick from. But I have kind of gone away from that policy and picked some players that I think would fit this Chelsea side.
And it's in importance as well, this isn't
Yeah,
it? So
yeah.
5th being the least important, 1 being the most important. So who you gone with at number 5?
So number 5, we are delving into the realm of fantasy.
Wow.
Don't kill me for it. Do not kill me.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5, and let me explain my reasoning, right?
Go on.
Vinicius Junior is, of course, one of the best players in the world.
Yep.
Vinicius Junior doesn't fit the model at Chelsea, but Vinicius Junior, if you're going by reports, is a little bit unsettled at Real Madrid.
Yeah.
He's a player that is probably going through his worst run of form since he's first joined the club. Only scored 5 league goals this season. And he plays in a position in which I think Chelsea, despite signing Gittins and Garnacho, need reinforcements. And so, again, I don't think this is going to happen. The wages and the cost of the player, it doesn't align with Chelsea. But apparently Real Madrid are interested in Enzo Fernandez, so there might be a little trade on the table.
Let's bring Lyes in, because your face was a picture when you saw that
He's got a
magazine.
year left of his contract, though.
No, it's not about will Vinny leave Real Madrid or not. It's will Chelsea buy him. That's the part that I'm laughing about. And again, under Abramovich, hey, all's fair. Honestly, I think this is definitely realistic. But under Clear Lake, I just feel like the model. He is the anti-Clear Lake model, to be honest with you, in terms of he's going to probably cost over 100 million. Well, no, probably he will cost 150 million, in my opinion, minimum.
With 1 year left of his deal. You think Madrid can ask that?
I think if Vinicius Junior is looking to leave, or Real Madrid are looking to let him go, Saudi will come in for him for 200 million.
He's got to decide to want to play in Saudi.
Yeah. But I don't think Vinicius Junior will go for under 150
What I'll
million.
say about these players as well, if you think about Brazilian forwards of his ilk, they're pretty transient, right? Neymar, Ronaldinho, R9, they don't stick around their clubs for very long.
But I think he would love to. I think for him, it's a power struggle between himself and Alonso at the moment. I think he would love to retire at Real Madrid.
He's been there for 8 years. I think there might be time for a change, and maybe Stamford Bridge might be the destination.
Stick it up. Let us know what you think of that selection.
Brave shout, but I think he is going to leave Madrid.
I think there's a good chance he does. I'm just not sure it's Chelsea.
And the pool of clubs available to him that can afford him, and it's pretty limited, man.
I think Clear Lake would rather spend 50 million on 4 different players than him.
You said anti-Clear Lake. Maybe that anti-Clear model will help us right now because it's clearly not working.
Definitely, I agree.
Yeah, and we've put Kweku in the sporting director role here.
Yeah, my
so he
fault.
can do what he
Sorry,
wants.
Mr. Winston.
At 4, I think you've got a goalkeeper to talk about, but you also want to talk about another goalkeeper, right? You've
Yes.
got a couple of options in there.
It's a story of 2 Mikes. Mike Penders and Mike Maignan. Mike Penders, he's a goalkeeper that Chelsea signed from Genk last summer. And Chelsea got great history signing goalkeepers from Genk. That's where Thibaut Courtois came from. Sent him out to Atletico Madrid on loan for 3 years, came back and was one of the best keepers in the world and won us the Premier League title. A couple of Premier League titles. Mike Magnon's a player that Chelsea were linked with in the summer. Couldn't get the deal over the line because of salary and because of the cost of the player, typical Clear Lake. Doesn't fit the model in terms of the age. He's 30 years old. And despite the fact that he's fallen off a cliff a little bit over the last couple of years, they're still considered one of the best keepers in the world. And I've been told by everybody who watches football that goalkeeper's a problem for Chelsea. I don't necessarily think that's our biggest problem, hence why it's number 4. I think Robert Sanchez has been underrated this season. And if you look at Chelsea even last season, where he was much derided, Liverpool ran away with the league. They only conceded 2 less goals than Chelsea. And so that shows you that the defence is derided, but it's not the biggest issue at Stamford Bridge. But for me, bringing Mike Penders, who is on loan at Strasbourg. He has played under Liam Rosenior. Rosenior talked in his press conference yesterday about how important goalkeepers are. He mentioned that Sanchez and Jorgensen are world-class with the ball at their feet. I don't believe that at all. And I think Mike Penders will be a perfect fit. So a year on loan at Strasbourg, come back to Chelsea and be our number one. That's my preference.
Yes.
So on the board, I'm going to stick Penders.
Okay. So return for Penders. We're going to include that as one of the transfers. You happy with that?
Yeah, that's good enough. That makes more sense to me for Clear Lake. I mean, I think Mike Maignan is a world-class goalkeeper. I think this season he actually has. He's gained back a bit of his form. I think I've watched him a few times this season. He had this game against Inter, incredible. But this makes more sense, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think keepers is often a topic we discuss amongst Chelsea. So that is 4. Let's go to number 3 then, because this is an interesting shout.
Yeah. So number 3, a Bayern wonder kid, Aleksandar Pavlovic. It's going to be difficult to wrestle him away from Bayern Munich.
Name to get through the door.
100%. The age profile fits, and a lot of people talk about Chelsea's inability to control games, and they point to the defence. It's not that. It's the midfield, and Chelsea haven't had a deep line playmaker, like a metronomic kind of tempo setter since Jorginho left the football club.
He spent 120 million on one of them in Enzo.
And they thought Enzo Fernandez would be that. It's evident that Enzo's way more effective a little bit further forward, crashing the box. And so I think Chelsea's inability to control games and the inexperience there, I think that Pavlovic, despite his young age, can rectify that issue for Chelsea. And I look at the way that he plays, I look at the control and how comfortable he is receiving the ball from the centre-backs. Similar to the job that Zubimendi does for Arsenal, but he's a bit more physical, 6'2", and got a lot about him. And he's not a guaranteed starter in Brian's midfield this season. Only started 5 league games. And so I know that it's difficult to wrestle German wonder kids away from Bayern Munich. But we heard Leonard Carl talk about how joining Real Madrid is his dream. That. Maybe his dream is to play in front of
I don't think so, man.
Let's bring brave. I mean, that's a hard one to get done. Bayern are not going to want to lose him. It's also an area where you'd look at Chelsea and think they need strengthening in other areas. And to be fair, we haven't come on to number 2 and 1, so I presume you're going to talk about potentially centre-back areas as well. But with all that said, how realistic do you think this is?
Again, not very realistic. I think, to get him out of Bayern will be incredibly difficult in terms of even alluring him in the first place, but then trying to agree a deal with Bayern. Yeah. But again, for me, I mean, to be fair, clearly this is probably more their more 20. How old is Pavlovic now? 21 years old. He's fantastic. He's so good. But I just don't really see that happening.
We have seen this season in that Chelsea midfield. So many minutes for Gusto in there, Reece James in there. Yeah. You know, Romeo Lavia's injury problems have risen again. Caicedo's had so many suspensions. Enzo's playing for. So that deep line midfield role, there is potentially a hole there. Do you agree?
No, 100%. 100%.
I think Caicedo's not a deep line playmaker. No. This guy is a deep line playmaker that can receive the ball from centre backs, put his foot on the ball, assess the situation, and dictate the tempo of games. When you watch Chelsea games, it feels like an under-23 match in terms of how up and down, how volatile.
It basically is. Let's call it.
How volatile it is. This is the guy that can put his foot on the ball, assess the situation, and make the right decisions. And so it might not be realistic, but it fits the model. And I don't know.
Okay, might be a tough one.
I love to dream on this show, man. Why not? We're allowed to dream.
I like the
different. Might be tough to get done, but averaging most successful passes per 90 in the Bundesliga, most of any player, top player. We now get into the top 2, Joe.
Yeah, who have you got in at number 2?
Samu.
Another striker.
Another striker. Okay, so Chelsea had an issue with strikers, but this guy reminds me, the thread that runs through Hasselbank, through to Drogba, through to Diego Costa, Samu is cut from the same cloth. Samu is cut from the same cloth, and there was a reason why we were linked with him a couple of summers ago. The deal fell through because of image rights. He ended up going to Porto, and his goal-scoring record there has been phenomenal. In his first season, he hit the ground running. In his second, or this is his second season right now, he scored 13 league goals in 16 league games. I know what you're going to say, right? Portuguese tax. Yeah. We've seen Darwin not work out in the Premier League. We're watching Gyökeres right now, and I don't need to say too much more about him. I'm old enough to remember Jackson Martinez. Where's he? Like there are players that thrive in the Portuguese league, and when they go to other top European leagues, they struggle. But I think Samu's got all the traits and all the qualities to succeed in the Premier League. Only 21 years old. He's a player that I think will be leading the line for Spain for years to come. I think he's a top quality footballer. And like I said, with Chelsea, the strikers that kind of get you off your feet and remind you of Chelsea strikers are big, physical, burly strikers that put themselves about. And you guys, Man United fans, you'll know about him. That brace against you in the Europa League, he's a top player, and I think that he fit Chelsea perfectly.
19 goals in all comps.
I was going to say, I like Samu a lot. But can you guys just get Victor Osimhen and get it over with, man? You're talking about the mold of striker, the Drogbas, the Hasselbanks, the Costas. Osimhen is next in line, man. And I feel like this, again, under Abramovich, I think it's a deal you guys would have done 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000. So Samu is a great prospect, and he's shown a lot. But again, this feels like another player that you're going to bring in, and maybe in 2-3 years is then ready to be a striker that can lead the line and maybe win a league title for you guys. But again, this just feels like you're planning for 3 years, and that 3 years might not even come. So I think get the best in class, especially for a position like centre forward.
What are we talking about your centre forwards, though? Because you obviously brought 2 in the summer in Pedro and Delap. And you're already potentially thinking about the next replacement to them?
João Pedro is not a number 9. And he came in at the Club World Cup and he was fantastic. He scored a goal in the final, he scored a brace in the semis, but he's not an out-and-out number 9. Okay. Liam Delap is a player that I think has got potential. He's been in and out this season through suspension and injury. And I went on the record and said that the striker to succeed Harry Kane would be Liam Delap, but he struggled this season. And I think Chelsea need reinforcements. If Chelsea could have their time back again, they wouldn't have sent Nicholas Jackson out on loan to Bayern Munich, who really missed his presence at Chelsea. But I look at Samu as a player that's got great upside, fits the model, the salary would be reasonable. And you guys laughed at me for Vinicius, but I think this one's a little bit more realistic.
That's the most blue coat signing.
Yeah,
that's definitely the most blue coat signing I've seen on this list.
Well, we now come to number 1. So this is
so far
Kweku's most important signing.
Bring him on.
Liam Rosenior. So who is the number 1 signing you'd like to see brought in at Chelsea?
A tap-in. A man that everybody wants. A man that has got links to Chelsea. He came up through the academy, sent him out on loan to Swansea. I saw him play in the back 3 at Swansea, in the back 4 at Swansea under Steve Cooper, helped them get to a playoff final. And then he's made his name really at Crystal Palace, their leader at the back, a player that all the top teams in the country, all the top teams in the world are interested in. A man that's only got less than 6 months left on his contract. So this will be a tough signing. 25 years old, so maybe doesn't fit the model. Yeah. But my goodness, sometimes put down the spreadsheet. Sometimes it's not about analytics, it's about management.
The spreadsheet in the bag.
No, but like just put the spreadsheets in the bag and use your eyes. And the eye test is valuable, right? You know about the eye test.
I am all about it.
You know about I have to name your podcast, the eye test. Yeah. Use your eye test and be reasonable, right? Chelsea are lacking a leader. Chelsea are lacking a centre-back. Chelsea, I think him next to Levi Colwill when he's eventually fit, he's the perfect foil. I think Marc Guehi is a man that, if Chelsea had their wits about them, they would have gone for him in the summer. Yeah. And you can maybe pull on those emotional heartstrings of being a former Chelsea player. And I think that he will transform our defence. And when you talk about the most important position for Chelsea, it is at centre-back. You look at the rotation of players, and I like Chalobah, I like Fofana, I like Tosin, but none of them are A-sided centre-backs. And I think that this man, with his leadership qualities and his ability on the ball, is an A-sided centre-back, and who Chelsea needs.
You're right about, I mean, he's got the pick of every club, hasn't he? Given his contract situation, age profile, we know Liverpool in for him, Man City, Arsenal rumoured, former Chelsea trainer. I think he had 2 caps for Chelsea in the League Cup, I believe, if memory serves me right. Where do you think Marc Guehi will end up? Because it looks like he's going to leave Crystal Palace, but where do you think he will end up? I
mean, what reports are saying City are really trying to get him now. I guess any club that is really desperate for him would try and get him before his options open up, and then he can get signing on fees and all of that. I think Chelsea badly need him, but I also think City need him as well, too, because if City have any hope of staying in this title race, they need to reinforce in defence. So I wouldn't be surprised if City try and get it over the line this summer.
If you were Guehi, would you consider Chelsea in that list? Do you think of Barcelona potentially looking at him, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Man City? Well. Where did Chelsea rank on that list?
For me, this is just like the Semenyo thing. If Pep Guardiola is ringing your phone, and with all due respect, Rosenior is ringing your phone, or I don't know, Arne Slot, Pep Guardiola is winning that phone call every single day of the week. I see him going to City.
Do you think it's a realistic sight to see Guehi in a Chelsea kit again?
Probably not. He's 25 years old. It's 2 years too old. Like, I'm struggling here, guys.
No, I think it would be an amazing signing. It makes sense.
He would make sense for sure in terms of just the X's and O's. And I've said it before to you, like, sometimes it's not about the analytics, it's about the manalytics.
Yeah.
Have a look at the
analytics. I like that.
The person as opposed
spitting right now.
As opposed to the numbers on a sheet. And this is the real deal right now. England starting centre back going into the World Cup. Get him in the
and then you want to build partnerships right there that can go forward. Him and Levi Colwill there. That's a centre back partnership that you can foresee staying at Chelsea for 5+ years.
Off the pitch as well. What he brings the dressing room in terms of personality, leadership.
And they need leaders, by the way. Chelsea
not just
need
the leadership
leaders,
aspect of it, how he's handled himself throughout all of this. Interesting list that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is confirmation of Kweku's list of 5.
Oh, you have a Man City list. I'd say fantastic.
Liam Rosenior. I have to say some big names in there, but I do like to see Marc Guehi at the top of it. Let us know what you think of that at home.